to join. Kindly bear with us. We will be starting the second one. Thank you.
Mr. Chairperson, the resource person has joined. You can start the session.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Respected resource person of today's last sixth day faculty development program. We are very grateful indeed to have Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar again. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Well, as per the schedule, actually, if you would look at the original schedule, it was Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, actually, who was supposed to be giving his last section here, but due to unforeseen situations, he couldn't make it for the section today. So, Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar had kindly consented to come again for this last and very final section here. Respected faculty members, those who are joining as participants, researchers, and also principals from other various institutions. But it is my great pleasure to extend a very warm and heartfelt welcome to each one of you to this sixth faculty development program writing research papers today's paper, jointly organized by Indian Christian College as a college with Synod College, or Bhoi Synod College, Mawlai Presbyterian College, and also Nabon Women's Synod College. So this program actually brings together a vibrant academy community across institutions with a common goal to strengthen the research capabilities of educators and also scholars. In a time when the academic excellence is closely linked to the quality of research output, the ability to write, publish, and also communicate ideas effectively is not just a skill, but it is also becoming an essential academic competency. For those of us who are joining us as participants from various colleges as faculty members, especially those who are new entrants, we are all very well aware about the need of PR, about the research competency, the API scores, and career advancement schemes, which eventually will, give you the required competency and also credentials, and eventually colleges we are to get our colleges as accredited by the NAC or even National Institution Ranking Framework, NIRF, and various other such accreditation institutions. So we are very honored to have Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar, a distinguished scholar. Well, we have already heard of him for the last two sessions. And sir, I must put it in order. We have totally enjoyed the second last section of your section last time, where we have talked about the ethical, aspects of the research. Where actually, as for me personally, this is one area where in most of the faculty development programs is been less dealt with, and there are few resource persons who, with such competency and confidence, would take us through. So we are indeed very privileged to have you in the field of research and academics writing, join us as a resource person for today's sixth and final day faculty development program. His very rich experience and insights will undoubtedly provide us immense value to all of us here. So I would now like to formally welcome everyone on board, and finally our resource person Gowtham Ramkumar kindly take us to this very important topic on the art of writing research papers. And then, like always, we will be taking this up to 9:50. 8:50. Then finally, we will open to the house last 10 minutes for Q&A. So the time is yours.
Thank you so much. Good evening, all the participants. It's like once again a surprise visit for me that I'm going to meet you all again. And yeah, so I was requested to give a talk, no, on how to art of writing research papers, especially no. Instead, I would like no to give a little bit of uh, no a slight tweak in what we are going to discuss. Of course, the content, everything will remain the same. It's going to be art. But instead, I would say how you can publish your papers in premier journals. For a good journal, what are the different ways you can, no, you can consider writing for your journals, right? That is something. Of course, you can call this also as art of or crafting your research article, or you can also call this as how to publish in good premier journals. You can also call it as art of crafting your research manuscript, after art of writing your research manuscript, and so on, right? So most of us have this common question in mind: how can we publish in a premier journal? Right? How can we publish in a premier journal? That is always one important question every academic will have. So to talk about that, how to publish in premier journals, or how do you construct your articles for premier journals? Please remember, publishing in premier journal is not an easy task. It's a challenging task, right? And as I was telling, as this today's session was rightly talking about, right, art of writing good research paper, right? So publishing in premier journal is a challenging task. So you do not only require conducting an impactful research, but you should also master the art of scholarly writing. So sometimes, based on my experience, I have seen people conduct good amount of research, but they are very poor in writing. Right. So publishing in premier journal requires you to have a. It is so difficult to get journals to publish our work. Yes, why it is? Because you need to improve a lot in your writing. Right. We need to develop that art, right? That is, I always accept that is, it's not easy to get into a good journal easily. All right. Now, what are the, so now the question is, we know the challenge. We know who is standing before us as a wall. How we are going to take this forward, right? So institutions worldwide utilize various metrics to evaluate your publication quality. Often, if you are in business research, since I come from commerce and management, so they often give to A star or A listed journals, right? Australian business schools often refers to their ABDC journal quality list, Australian Business Deans Council list, where business and European business schools, they go for CABS, Chartered Association of Business School guidelines. So others sometimes they may prioritize on impact factors as some indications of a good publication. Right. So the very first point whenever you are writing your manuscript for the journals is that your manuscript, your research paper should be within a range of 6,000 to 12,000 words. Right. Right. Typically within a range of 6,000 to 12,000 words, not exceeding beyond it. Right. You should be very sharp. You should be very concise in your writing of your research paper. That is very much important, right? That is very much important in your writing. Quantitative research papers should always be arranged in this sequence. You should have the title, you should have an abstract, you should have the keywords, you should have introduction, you may have literature review, the methodology, the results, discussions, conclusions, and references. So basically, we call it as IMRD. To put it in a very simple format, we call this as IMRD: Introduction, Materials and Methods, Results and Discussions. So the first important aspect, what is the very first important aspect that people look is your title. So you should craft the title in a better and clear manner. Okay. So whenever you are talking about title, please remember, title is not just a label for your research work, right? It is not just a label like your name. Your title should always be catchy and engaging. So your title, whenever you are formulating your title, the title should be informative and it should be engaging. So whenever I read your title, I should get what is the central focus of your research paper. So you should avoid ambiguity, too much of words in the title, right? So a very well crafted title should always be informative. And the moment I read your title, I should understand this is the central focus of this researcher, right? The key focus of your research paper should be very clearly and well established, right? Otherwise, your title may not go wrong. Now, whenever you are talking about title, there any word limit? Yes, restrict it to 12 words. Don't go beyond that. Restrict your title to a maximum of 12 words, nothing beyond that. For example, the very important consideration that you need to keep in mind when writing your title is that your title should establish clarity and focus. What do you mean by establishing clarity and focus? Title should unambiguously cover the main topic of your research. For example, see the research paper given here: Workplace Ostracism and Cyber Looping, a Social Cognitive Perspective. So, is the title clear? Is the central focus of the paper is very clear? Right? Is the central focus is very clear in this title? Workplace Ostracism and Cyber Looping. Clearly highlighted what are the key concepts this paper is dealing with and what is ideally a reader can expect. So whenever you are crafting not clear, why you feel it is not clear? Good. It is clear, no? This readers clearly understand what is the central theme. What is the central theme of this paper? The central theme of this paper revolves around workplace ostracism and cyber loafing. These are the two central focus area of this paper, and it is also very clear in what perspective I am going to discuss. I am talking in social cognitive perspective. So people, if they read this title, they will clearly understand what to be expected. See, when I see this title, okay, these are the two focus areas of this paper, and this is what I can expect. So if my interest is not very good, say for example, if I am not interested, I will easily say I don't want to read this paper. Right? I will easily say I don't want to read this paper. Right? I need not waste my time going and reading the abstract introduction section. Instead, the title is very concise, it is very clear, and it is very focused. The key concepts are clearly highlighted: workplace ostracism and cyber loafing. That's all clearly highlighted, no? As a reader, will I get any confusion? What is the focus of this paper? I will not get confusion, right? Because it is very clear. So clear and focused title should convey the main research topic. Your research topic should be clear and it should facilitate. So the moment as a reader I read this title, I understand what is going to be the focus of discussion. If that is not clear, then that is going to be a chaos. That is going to be a chaos. So often it is very much important that you have a clear and focused title which directly convey the main research topic, because most of the premier journals, they wanted clarity in communication. If you go with very vague or very broad title, which if it misengage the reader, right, then it means it will gain less visibility and less citations, which journals do not like. Right, which journals do not like at all. Which journals do not like at all. Right, then next important consideration whenever you are crafting your title is that you need to consider incorporating theoretical or methodological perspective. Right, so if you take the previous title, what was the previous title? Workplace ostracism and cyber loafing, a social cognitive perspective. When you say it is a social cognitive perspective, what will the reader understand? So I can understand as a reader, what will I think? Okay, this paper is on social cognition perspective. So I can expect what kind of analysis that will be done in this paper and what sort of discussions that will come. What sort of discussions will it come? Why it is? Why do you think indicating is important? Why do you think indicating a perspective is very much important? Why? Because indicating a perspective is very much important, because whenever you are talking about a research paper, perspective is a kind of way to communicate, or it signals your academic depth. Right? It signals as an author what sort of academic depth you have, and it situates it within a specific scholarly discourse, which any premier journals wants. Otherwise, they might think it is something superficial, or they feel there is lack of academic rigor in your paper. So always consider this perspective in mind. Consider incorporating your theoretical or methodological perspective in your title. This point very clear. What is the important thing? The third important thing you need to focus on your title is including the keywords. So whenever you actually after your abstracts also you will have keywords, correct? So try to have your keywords in your title also. Why? Because keywords helps you in increasing the visibility of your article. Right? Keywords help you in increasing the visibility of your article. How do you all search for the papers? How you all search for papers? How you all go and search for paper? How do you go and search for a paper? How do you go and search for paper? How will you go and search for your paper? Can somebody type it in the chat box?
There are some few who wrote keywords, sir.
Yes, people use keywords, right? You try to find some, yeah. So you will try to use keywords, right? For example, green marketing, sustainable marketing, like that. So you should try to include the keywords in your title so that whenever some researcher go and use commonly used keywords, your paper should pop up. And journals will look out for that. Journals will look out for that, right? Keywords make your research paper discover in any of the databases, Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, etc. Right? Etc. So you should try in your title, try to include your keywords to enhance your searchability. This is very much important in today's world because you all know we are driven by data-driven world, and search engine optimization is very crucial for your academic citation. So you should use correct keywords and common use keywords to increase your visibility. You should not use keywords, very vague keywords or nobody knows. Then nobody will search only with that words. Correct? So in the title, use keywords, whatever you are going to give as a keywords after your abstract. The same thing, one or two keywords should also be forming part of the title. Instead, I would say the reverse, right? Instead, it should be whatever you are giving in the title that should match at least with the keywords you are going to give post your abstract, right? That is very much essential. It will enhance the visibility. Like if you lack of relevant keywords can limit the research paper's reach, and your visibility will also get diluted, which none of the premier journals want. Right? The next one, avoid ambiguity and jargons. Try to avoid ambiguity and try to avoid any sort of technical jargons. Right? As a researcher, you should always try to have a balance between technical accuracy as well as accessibility. Why? What we are trying to do is your title should be comprehensible, right? Your title should be comprehensible, right? Comprehensible means what? Not only from the people within the domain will be capable of linking your title, even people outside your immediate field of specialization should also be able to field it easy. For example, we saw one title, Workplace Ostracism and Cyber Loafing, a Social Cognitive Perspective. Very simple title. No technical jargons, ambiguity. So who will read? People even from organizational behavior, people from psychology, people from management will also read. Not necessarily only that particular domain. Right? Not only that particular domain. Right? People from even other domain who have a vast knowledge in that area will also very much important. Easily will be able to understand. So balancing the technical accuracy with the accessibility is very much important so that your paper reaches better audience. Journals will look all these things. So whenever you are writing your research paper, you should keep that in mind. Right? Balancing technical accuracy with accessibility so that it can reach better audiences. And especially when you are talking about interdisciplinary research, this is very much important. If you have title with heavy jargons or ambiguity, people may not read, and interdisciplinary research will not work. So nowadays, interdisciplinary research is gaining importance, right? Interdisciplinary research is gaining importance. So that is very much important. So clear? So whenever you are writing your research title, try to avoid ambiguity and any sort of technical jargons. The goal is to ensure that the title is always comprehensible so that better it can reach wide range of academic audience, include those who are outside your field of specialization. Clear? This is very much important. So these are some of the considerations. So 4 important considerations when you talk about title. Your title should establish clarity and focus. It should incorporate theoretical or logical perspective. You should include keywords to enhance searchability. And you should avoid ambiguity and technical jargons. Is that clear? Next one. The next step is crafting the abstract. After the title, what you get? After your title, you will start writing the abstract. Right? After writing the title, you will start looking for abstract. So basically, right, one of the participants were asking, what is the maximum number? Right? Maximum number, I told 12. Right? Between 12 or less than 10 is something very much important. See, I am going to give you one title. I am going to type one title for you all. See if that is interesting. Right? See if that is interesting. Okay, I'm going to type it in the chat box. This is one of the paper title. How many words you find here? How many words you found? Is this title immediately? Is this title immediately appealing? Will any reader, if they see this title, will they feel like reading? You know, this paper, I'll talk about this paper because this paper came out when ChatGPT was introduced. When the first time ChatGPT came into this world. And this paper had ChatGPT as author. Right? This paper actually listed ChatGPT as one of the author. Right? ChatGPT was given as one of the authorship. But later on, this paper was withdrawn because AI tools are not eligible for authorship. Correct? AI tools are not eligible for authorship. Right? AI tools are not eligible for author. But at that time, it fetched the citations like anything. It fetched the citations like anything. Right? Many people feel fascinated. Oh, ChatGPT is given authorship. Oh, what if this entire paper was written by ChatGPT? Because the title talks about that. Right? Title talks about that. So, whenever you are writing a title, right, you should keep that in mind. Less than 5 words, 10 words, or max to max 12 words, not more than that. So, whenever you are writing a research paper, always write it brief and make it comprehensible. Right? Your abstract should also be like that. Whenever you are writing the abstract, it should be comprehensive summary of your research. So it is like the next level filtration. If I am little impressed with your title, next your editor will go and read what is the abstract. It is like the window. right? It is your abstract is like a window which provide a snapshot of your research objectives, methodology, and findings. Most of the time, your editors will stop here, right? Most of the times, premier journal editors will stop here. If an abstract is not very engaging, then they might say, "Thank you so much for your submission." Considering they'll give some lame reasons and they will not accept your paper. They will not accept your paper. So, what are some of the key considerations you need to keep in mind? Whenever you are writing the abstract, your abstract should first start with stating the purpose. Your abstract should clearly state the objective of the research. Right? Starting like this study aims to, or the purpose of this study is to, like that. Your abstract should start with the purpose. Stating the research objective will basically set the direction and the context, right? It will basically set the direction and the context for the reader, establishing the relevance and scope, right? Establishing the relevance and scope of the research, right? That is very much important. Establishing the relevance and scope of your research. So first line itself, no all grandmother stories in the very first line of the abstract. Straight away start the aim of the research or the purpose of this research. So why you need to do that? It will make your paper engaging, which even good premier journals want. So if you are not going to clearly articulate your research objective, readers will feel confused. And they may not be very, they will be very hesitant to cite your paper. So always, whenever abstract you are writing, the first thing should always be the purpose. First thing should always be the purpose. Once the purpose is written, the next thing you need to talk about in your abstract is your methodology. The next area you need to talk about is the methodology. So here you will talk about the methodology. Your methodology basically should talk about your research design, the analytical approach. How did you ensure the methodological rigor? How reliable is your research? Which is a very pre-criterion. When I, as an editor, when I read your paper and I find there is methodological rigor is missing, I may not be very much interested, right? I may not be very much interested to accept your paper. So you should clearly state what research you should not again one comma another mistake people do is this, right? They keep on explaining the terms. What is quantitative research? What is convenient sampling? Nothing. You should not do any such thing, right? You should not do any such thing. All right. So your methodology should clearly design your research designs and so on. Analytical thing. What is the rigor? Methodological rigor is one of the key factors. And reliability, how reliable are your methods? Reliable is your research. Those should be clearly specified. So you start your abstract with purpose, then methodology, then comes key findings. How many of you watch cricket? How many of you watch cricket? How many of you watch cricket? Okay, one. Nobody else watches cricket. Or any other sports. Any sports. Some of us will watch, right, full match. Some of us watch what? Some of us watch what? Excellent. Highlights. Correct. Some of us watch what? We are interested only in highlights. The 10-15 minutes entire match. Your key find, your abstract is like your highlighter. Your abstract of your paper is like a highlights. So you should state the key findings, highlights. That is where your key findings will motivate the editor also. Should I go further or should I not go further? So it should curate that interest among, oh, nice findings. Let's go on further and read full paper like that. Right? So come summarize the key findings. Summary of key findings is the next important area you all need to focus. Right? What is the research outcome? Right? This is why the summary is maintained, again to maintain the reader engagement. Right? Otherwise, abstract will, if your findings are not clear, key highlights are not properly presented, means your abstract will fail to communicate the value of your research. Right? That will pull the value down. That will pull the value down. So please write your, state the key findings. Next one. So you start with purpose, methodology, findings. Next very important area you need to talk about is your state the major contributions and novelty. What is your research contribution? What is the outcome of importance? Practical implications, policy implications, practice implications. All these things should come. Right? What is contribution of your research? Right? What is the contribution of your research? This is like a differentiation. In what way your article is unique and different from others? What is that novel, new? Novelty is one of the important area any journal will look at. If you are going to tell the same thing, nobody is interested. All right? You should always think on what is relevant. You should always think on, right, what is relevant. So in contrast, right, okay, if your abstract lacks any sort of research contribution, you will not get a space in any publication. This is one core area. Just like how I told, methodological rigor is important. Your novelty is also very much important. Okay. Next one. Strive for clarity and conciseness. Check out for the journal guidelines, how much words they want. Abstract should always be concise and it should not be more than 150 words. Standard is 150. Sometimes some journals ask you even for 250, 500 also. That is their choice. But your abstract should always be written concise, typically not more than 150 words. And it should be written in such a way it can easily be accessible for broader academic audience. Right? So in simple, your abstract should clearly communicate. Right? Most of the time, your abstract should be neat, written, very clear, concise, and focused. Clearly articulating what is the research purpose, methodology, key findings, and unique contributions. Right? So these are important considerations for abstract. What are the considerations for title? Whenever you are writing the title, establish clarity and focus. incorporate theoretical or methodological perspective, include keywords to enhance searchability, avoid ambiguity and jargon. Whenever you are writing the abstract, your abstract should have the purpose, methodology, findings, major contributions and novelty. So whenever you are writing your abstract, it should be very clear, concise and focused writing. It should be clear, concise and focused writing. Am I making sense? Am I making sense so far? Yes. Yes. Very good. Good. Very good. I should see that engagement like this in the audience. Then I will understand. Yes, all are actively listening. And then I will understand. Yes, crowd is active. Like my previous this thing. Okay. Now we are going part by part, right? You are for every part of your research paper. First, your paper will start with title, then abstract. After the abstract, what you will have? You will have keywords. After abstract, you will have what? Keywords. Keywords plays a very important role in increasing your visibility and even indexing also, right? Indexing. Hello? Yeah. So keywords play an important role in your discoverability, increasing the visibility, right? Increasing the visibility. So keywords in a paper play a very crucial role in indexing and searchability, right? So you have to select the right keywords, the keywords that you are telling, right? It should increase the visibility and reach. Indirectly, it is like your USP, unique selling point. You should be able to, your people should be able to trace. But you should not make your keyword so unique, nobody will think of that as keyword only. That is another problem. In the process of learning, hiding unique keywords, nobody will think that as keywords only when they go for literature review. Then your paper will not gain any visibility only. Right? And you should write keywords should go in alphabetical order. Recommended. Some journals are very flexible, they are not very strict, but better to go in alphabetical order, your keywords arrangement, but not necessarily always, because journals are not very so strict in that, but still it's recommended. So please write your keywords properly. So what are some of the key what are some of the considerations you need to write? You should ensure your keywords are relevant to your research. Your keyword should be directly related to the main themes and topic of the research. As I told you, workplace ostracism and cyber loafing. Both should be part of keywords. Keywords, what are the words used in title can be in keywords, so that it will go for better discoverability. Alright. If you add any irrelevant or overly general keywords, right, it may look overlooked in academia. So you should not go that side also, you should not go this side also. Too narrow, so unique keyword also you should not choose. Overly general keywords also you should not use. Right? Overly general keywords also using means that is also one problem. So don't include irrelevant or overly generic keywords. At the same time, don't be so unique. Nobody will use that as a keyword only. So strike that balance. You should strike that balance. Okay. Now, after this, next thing, in the keywords, you can still consider including theoretical and methodological. This is why? Because if any of your authors or readers are very much interested in theoretical areas or methodological areas, having your theoretical or a methodological perspectives can increase your visibility. If I am a reader who is very much interested in social cognition, then you add that theoretical this thing over there, it will be helpful, right? It will be helpful. So it will help the authors to connect with the scholarly audience, right? So it is good to have scholarly writing, which is some of the journals will naturally look out for, right? They will definitely will look out for. So please be careful here. So because readers will be understand, they want to in what theoretical lens or in what methodological approach you are following, right? Then you might consider including, right? This is optional recommendation. Okay, this is just optional. You can talk, especially geographical is very optional, right? You can consider, no, you should not put your geographical in title. You see, that is another problem, right? But you can in the keywords you can mention, right? So if your research study is a kind of regional study, only specific for Asia, Africa, like that, then if your research has a specific geographical focus or a contextual focus, that geographical location like Malaysia, India, like that can also be included in the keywords, but not in title. But not in title, right? The geographical relevance or the contextual relevance can be looked into. So to put it in a very simple way, writing having a right keyword is very crucial for increasing the visibility and relevance in online search. Keyword should encompass your main topic, your framework. This will help you. This is very much important for a premier journal. When you are targeting for any premier journal, they will definitely look out for. So these are some of the considerations in your keywords. So first three aspect we are seeing. Whenever you start writing, first is title, second is abstract, and third one is this thing, title, abstract. Sorry, yeah, keywords. After keywords, next you will move what? Next section is your introduction section. Max to max, your editor will go read till this if he wants to avoid disk rejection. If he wants to avoid disk rejection, he will go read till this point. After that, he will escape. If your introduction is also non-convincing, he will say your article is disk rejected. Please take away your article. I don't want to waste my reviewer time. I don't want to waste my reviewer time. So your introduction plays a very vital role in capturing the attention of editors, reviewers, and readers, especially when you are targeting any premier journal. So as I told, well-structured introduction can prevent lot of disk rejection. If I am not convinced here also, then it is gone. Flight, no back, no reading your entire paper. Here itself I will reject. So please pay proper attention. So what are some of the considerations? What are some of the things you need to include in your introduction? First thing you need to keep on in your introduction is you should set the tone for research. You should set the tone for research. Begin with a thorough overview of topic. For example, if we talked about cyber loafing, then you should clearly define the term at the outset. So this will clearly help you in setting the context for the reader. Right? You should clearly define what is cyber loafing. So you should begin your research with the overview of the topic. Right? That is very much important. You clearly define the term so that the reader understand the context. Demonstrate. This is very much important. You should demonstrate the significance. Why it is very important to do a research on cyber loafing now. So emphasize the importance of your research topic using statistics, values, or numbers from credible sources. You should emphasize the importance of the research topic using statistics, values, or numbers from credible sources. Right? Why this research? Why now cyber loafing I should read? Why I should now do research on workplace ostracism and this thing, cyber loafing? So you should emphasize the importance of your research topic using some statistics or values from a credible resources. Then, third important, you should talk indirectly about the research gap. Right? So your introduction should clearly talk about what are some of the research gaps that are not underexplored, that are not sufficiently studied or underexplored in your field. Right? If you are not clearly articulating your research gap, there are high chances that your paper gets rejected. Right? So you should propose, you should have that relationship very clearly. There are 7 types of gaps. How many of you are aware of 7 types of gaps? 7 types of gaps. How many of you are aware of 7 types of research gaps? First one is evidence gap. Okay, I'm typing. Second one is knowledge gap. Third one is practical knowledge gap. Okay, practical knowledge gap. Fourth one, methodological gap. Fourth one is methodological gap. Okay, methodological. Okay, I think I typed the spelling wrong. Then fifth one, theoretical gap. Sixth one, evidence gap, empirical gap. Then, right, lastly, you have population gap. 7 types of research gaps: evidence gap, knowledge gap, practical knowledge gap, methodological gap, theoretical gap, empirical gap, and population gap. What is evidence gap? There is no proper for evidence gap means uh, uh, conclusions in your research papers are basically coming from the research. But if you look in an abstract point of view, there is no proper evidence. If you look from abstract point of view, there is no proper evidence. Right? There is no proper evidence. Then what is knowledge gap? Sufficient knowledge does not exist. Sufficient theories does not exist. That is knowledge gap. 2. For application. That is knowledge gap. What is practice? Sufficient studies do not exist. Rather than theory, sufficient studies do not exist. That is knowledge gap. What is practical knowledge gap? Practical knowledge gap means what is told in research is different. What is practiced professionally in practice is different. Research is telling something and what is happening in reality is something else. That is called methodological gap. Sorry, practical knowledge gap. The next one is a methodological gap. What is methodological gap? Methodological gap means, right, there is a need to go for a new method to generate new insights, which means existing methods are not very much sufficient. They are generating the same information. So there is a need to adopt a new approach so that I will get some new insights. That is called methodological gap. What is theoretical gap? Same. Theoretical gap, I told. There is no sufficient theory. So mostly here you will go into qualitative. So you wanted to develop a theory. Then you have empirical gap. There are no proper empirical data or database support. Lastly, you have population gap. Population gap in terms of age, gender, no, in those angles, studies are not properly conducted. That is so. Totally, there are 7 gaps. Your research paper might address any one of these gaps or 1 or 2 gaps. You cannot address all the 7 gaps. If you address all the 7 gaps, it is really good, actually. But very less studies will address all the 7 gaps together. Very less studies do that. So naturally, you will address 1 or 2 gaps. So whenever you are writing your introduction, you should establish the theoretical contributions of your. How do you establish the theoretical contribution? By identifying gaps in the existing literature, and you will tell how your research study is addressing these gaps. How the research is addressing these gaps. Once you address the research gaps, now you should establish the theoretical contribution. Articulate how your research contributes to a better understanding of your topic. That is very much important. Once you establish theoretical contribution, the next insight you need to keep is to ensure that you establish managerial contribution. What is the practical implications for managers and practitioners? In addition to your theoretical contribution, you should talk about in what way your contribution, in what way your research is making a managerial contributions. Clear? So these are 5 important points. 1, set the tone for research, demonstrate the significance, identify and address the research gap, establish theoretical contribution, establish managerial contributions. Clear? So we started with title, abstract, keywords. Now we are done with the introduction. What is the next section you might have? The next section you might have is your literature review. The next section which you might have is a literature review. Literature review plays a very important role whenever you are targeting a premier journals. So literature review means you should not think it is literature review just is a summary of existing literature. Literature review is equal to one formula. I always tell them, right? I will always tell literature review as one formula. Okay, what is that formula? Literature review is not just a mere summary. This is equal to summary plus synthesis plus evaluation. Literature review is a collation of three: summary, synthesis plus evaluation. No, just putting summary is not literature review. You should properly survey, synthesize, evaluate, and connect how those topics are connected to your research. Right? So whenever you are writing your literature review, keep this point in mind. First, your theoretical, your inter-literature review section should lay the theoretical background. What is the theoretical underpinning? Very much important. Theory is important. If especially when you are writing a quantitative paper, whenever you are writing a quantitative paper, theory is important. So begin your literature review section with a robust discussion of the key theory on the basis of which you are considering your research. Right? Right? It frames your entire research within a school of thought. It frames your entire research within a school of thought. Correct? That is very much important. Laying the theoretical foundations. Laying the theoretical foundations. Very much important. Now, once you establish your theoretical foundations, right? Now you should very much important. Why? Because your theoretical foundation will direct you for research design and methodology. If you lack the theoretical basis, it is like you are making your research directionless. It is less credible. No way it is relevant to your field of study. So it is very much important that you enrich the foundations. Once you lay the theoretical background, next in your literature section, you should focus on contextual background. What is contextual background? In contextual background, you will provide a clear definition of various constructs that you are using in your research paper. This is very much important, right, in proper dissemination of your knowledge. And it will avoid lot of confusion. So you should after clearly right, define the concepts. After you do that, you have to do in-depth exploration of each construct. Right? You should do in-depth exploration of each of your construct. You should do an in-depth exploration of each constructor. After explaining how do you measure each, that should also be clearly exposed. So why you need to do that? It helps you in focusing on or solving two important objectives. One, it will give the reader, if I'm going to read your paper, right? It will help me in better understanding what you are trying to tell, and I will be visually able to connect between the construct. In your research setting, I will be able to better construct. If you are not going to do that, it will lead me to, as a reader, for me, it will lead to a lot of ambiguity, misinterpretations, all those things. So therefore, it is very important you meticulously articulate and craft your constructs. Right? Once you do that in a quantitative paper, the next you have to focus on developing the conceptual framework. Right? Framework, one diagram. Right? Based on theoretical and conceptual foundation. Now you will connect this thing. You will see the models in survey papers. One arrow, so complex model. So you should develop that complex model. But don't make it so complex, even editor cannot understand that. Okay. Whenever you are proposing this relationship, right? Whenever you are proposing this relationship, it should always accompanied by evidence. Right? It should always accompanied by evidence. It should proper. Simply based on your logic, you should not say this arrow moves this way. You should clearly support. It should be supported by your evidence. Because conceptual framework guides the research in the direction and justify the relationship established. Because it is based on this, you are going to formulate your hypothesis. Right? If this is wrong, it's like your hypothesis is fractured. So lack of rigor can diminish your research visibility and impact, and you will have the less chances of getting it accepted in prestigious journals. It is therefore imperative to construct a conceptual framework that not logically aligns with the chosen theory, but also resonates with existing empirical evidences. So whenever you are writing your literature review, you should keep these 3 pointers in mind. You should start with theoretical background, then conceptual background, then you should construct the framework. So once your literature so we are talking in title, abstract keywords, introduction, literature reviews over. The next area is crafting the methodology. After literature review, methodology. This is one heart, right? This is methodology is your heart. Your results and discussion section is brain. If heart and brain fails, can a human survive? If a heart and brain fails, can a human survive? Can a human survive? Your heart is also failure, brain is also failed means. Yes or no? Or it will be like useless also. Correct? No. So your methodology section is like your heart. Your methodology section is like your heart. So this is a critical part of your research paper. So this should answer your 5 W's. Who is doing, why you are doing, what you are doing, when you are doing, where you are doing, for better clarity and thoroughness. For better clarity and thoroughness. So 5W framework you should answer here in your methodology section. Okay? 5 W's. What, why, when, what and where. Sorry, who, why, what, when and where. Who, why, what, when and where. Now, what you need to do here, you need to detail the instrument and the instrumentation process. How did you develop your research instrument? The data collection instrument, how did you develop? Questionnaire means it's an adapted questionnaire, adapted scale, or survey, or it is a survey scale. Is it an adapted scale or is it an developed scale? How did you develop? How did you develop? Right? How did you pre-test? With which experts did you give? Right? How many experts? How did you choose that expert? Right? All those things should be clearly mentioned. After pre-testing, you should go for pilot research, pilot study, if it is a survey we are talking about. Then after pilot study, how did you check for accurate and reliable data? What are the some of the robustness check? Right? You did. Right? How did you ensure the credibility of your data collection instrument? That should be clearly established. Once you do that, the next step is what? The next step is the next step you should talk about your sampling. How did you choose your sample? This is another important area. Sampling process demands meticulous attention. What meticulous attention means? You should clearly describe the target respondents, explain what is the logic rationale for this selection, outline the eligibility criteria, and specify the data collection specific. So here you should cover a lot of things. First, a description of the sampling process. Right? It demonstrates that, right, you should clearly define the description of the sampling process so that I can assess whether this is adequate enough for generalizability and validity. Next, you should talk about replicability, whether future, because whether future researchers can replicate. If you are not properly describing your sample, then it is gone. Then it is gone. So you should clearly explain all your sampling and other methods. Next, what are the steps you have taken to assess common method bias, self-reporting bias? Right? All these are robustness check. All these are robustness check. All these are robustness check. So you should clearly address. Right? Traditionally, many people use Herman single factor, but that also suffers from lot of limitation. So more like a full collinearity approach, MMV approach, MLMV approach, measured latent marker variable, like that. You should give clear insight on your methodological robustness check. Whenever you are doing a cross-sectional study, this is very much important. Where you collect both for data and outcomes are selected, it should be very clear. Right? So in short, what is the conclusion means? A well-crafted methodology section, right? Particularly whenever you are targeting right? Particularly whenever you are targeting premier journals, it should be more detailed, it should be more transparent, and it should be more rigor. It should cover all aspects of your research process, from instrument development to quantification of constructs to sample selection and bias mitigation. Everything should be very clear, transparent. In by that way, you will be able to better understand the research method section clearly. Is that clear? Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Am I making sense? So we are going one by one. Right? We are going one by one. Okay. I could see lot of yes coming. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yes. Okay. 11. Okay. Now, after your methodology section, the next section that you will have is your results. After your methodology, you have the next section called as results section. Right? What is this result section? Presenting the data analysis results in a research paper can be challenging, particularly given the need for conciseness and precision. So here what is very much important, selected statistical output are relevant to your research objective and they are according to the updated reporting guidelines. How you present this also matters. Right? What is relevant only you should check. Right? So before going into your results, right, whenever you should report about what are the preliminary check, right? Preliminary checks like straight line responses or yeah saying responses. What is that straight line or yeah saying responses? Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like that. People keep on giving the same response. No, those kinds of check, the outliers, right, straight lining responses, outliers, all these preliminary checks should be eliminated. So you should check for outliers as well as yeah saying responses. So how did you conducted that and how did you eliminated those things? That should you should do first. Then whenever you are doing normally in a quantitative research, people use the SEM model, right? So you should ensure the evaluation of the methodological model is in line with Hare and Alma 2022. So this basically involves your detailed examination of internal consistency, convergent validity, and your discriminant validity. Then you will go for evaluating the structural model. Then you will go for evaluating structural model. Right? You will go on for evaluating structural model. So you should go step by step, especially whenever using SIM like those tools. Whenever you are using tools like that, you should be really careful. Right? You should be really careful. Next. Statistical aspects Very much important. Multicollinearity assessment in the model should not be over correlated. Coefficients of determination, right? Effect sizes, predictive relevance, cross-validated predictive ability tester, PLS predictor, all these things should be conducted. Once you finish that, the next section that you jump is your discussion section. Now in results, you will only talk about numbers. You will talk only about numbers. You will not talk anything about implications or connecting with the past studies. All those things you will never do. All those things you will never do. Right? All those things you will never do. So you should clearly present your discussion section. In discussion, the focus is more on how do you connect your study with the past study, whether your study is supporting the previous studies or it is rejecting the previous study findings. Whether it is supporting or rejecting the previous study findings. That you should clearly specify. Right? You should clearly specify that. You should clearly specify that in your discussion. So what are some key points in discussion? Let's consider one by one. Right? Let's consider one by one. Now in discussion section, you should first focus on establishing your practical implications. Right? It is very important that you establish the gap between your academic finding, basically the practical knowledge gap you should address. So you should convert all your results into meaningful recommendations, especially how practitioners can use, right? How practitioners can use your study for their implementation. That's why in the even beginning I told it is of very much relevance, right? It is of very much relevance. Clear? It is of very much relevance. You should clearly talk about the implications of your study. In what is the practical implication, theoretical implications, right? You should establish all those things very clearly. Theoretical contributions, you should establish your theoretical contributions also. So both theory, practical contributions. So this is one of the crucial area what your editors will look out for. This is one of the important areas what your editors will look out for. What sort of contributions? So here what they will assess, what is the contribution of the paper to your existing literature and the likelihood of publications. It is also important you should discuss why the findings align with theoretical expectation access. How your current research, what are the nuances of theory, what sort of contribution you should clear all the dimensions. So if a research confirms a well-established theory, then the discussion should also explore how the findings can be reinforced or expanded, possibly into a new researcher's context. So your discussion section should cover theoretical and practical. Once you finish, you will come to the last part of your paper, which is your conclusion. Conclusion is just not mere final selection, or it's not just a final. Sometimes people lose interest, they write their conclusions weak. No. You should write your conclusions very systematically, very professionally in a short and concise manner. Conclusion is a culmination of your research and a decisive factor in which how your physics is visible. This is the last chance for you to reinforce. In the very beginning, in the introduction, we discussed, right? What is the significance of the research? Leaving a lasting impression on the reader, whether it is a editor or a reviewer or a fellow research scholar, whatever it is. You should clearly establish a lasting impression on the reader. So in your conclusion, you first summarize the key findings. Once again, you summarize the key findings and key contribution. Your conclusion should start by summarizing the key research findings. Here it's like you are vouching. See, I told no in the very beginning, you remember in the first, when I start in the introduction, I told these are all the things that I'm going to do. See, now I have achieved everything. So primarily it's like reinforcing your achievements and insight. See, whatever I told, I have achieved. There is no deviation. I told 4 objectives, 4 questions. I have achieved. Yes. That's the tone in which you have to write. That's the tone in which you have to write. Right? So here you should have a clear, focused approach. Then reflecting on broader relevance. Here you should see how your research will help in broader academic disclose. How your study will support in broader academic disclose. Right? That you should clearly establish. So here you can still talk about positioning. It is like in marketing, we talk as STP. What is STP in marketing? What is STP in marketing? What is STP in marketing? Segmenting, targeting, positioning. Yes, correct. Segmenting, targeting, positioning. Right? Segmenting, targeting, positioning. Alright. So like that here you will position your paper. Alright, by putting it in the broader audience. So it goes beyond researchers' impact of immediate results, value addition to the thing. So this is the final way you communicate why you are telling. It's like you are pitching your idea before an investor, right? You are pitching an idea before the investor. So segmenting, targeting, positioning. Then your conclusion should talk about discussions. It should discuss the limitations and future research directions. So you should openly acknowledge your research limitation, which showcase your academic honesty and understanding of the research work. You should clearly articulate your suggestions for future research also. You should clearly articulate the suggestions for future research also. That is very much important. Right? It should not be vaguely written. You should not vaguely write something. Right? You should not write something vague. It should be huge because tomorrow some people will read your paper to spot the gap. Okay, this researcher completed this. He has suggested this is how your paper can be taken for further discussions. Right? This is how it can be taken for further discussions. So they will naturally expect you, right? They will naturally expect. So you are expected to write a clear, sharp future research directions. right? Frame your limitations constructively, right? Whenever don't talk about limitations and then make the editor feel, oh, this is so much limitation, let's reject. No. Constructively frame your limitations so that your limitation turns potential weaknesses into opportunity for future research. So this basically requires your mature understanding of the research process. There is no research without constraint, but each contributes to larger, prolonged body of knowledge. Right? It contributes to larger body of knowledge. Finally, you will write one concluding remarks. The final closing statement is the last chance, one last to emphasize the significance and impact of your research. So to put it in a very simple term, conclusion is a critical section that ties together all your research narratives, reiterate the value and the potential impact it would create. Finally, the references. Almost I am at the end of my presentation. So what I am going to do now, I will just talk about few important mistakes that people do in these whatever sections. So with that, we will conclude our discussion and we can take topic for further this thing. Some common mistakes that people do that I will try to show you. Right, in some of the few sections which you need to avoid. Right, some common mistakes you need to avoid whenever you are writing all these sections. So first, some common mistakes that people do in introduction section is that people write the introduction too generic. It is not written to a specific readers of the designated journal. This is one common mistake people will do. This is one common mistake that people do. They do not write, no specific, their introduction is too generic and it is not written specific to readers of any targeted journal. So always, what is the recommendation? Always choose a journal first. Understand the journal, then write. Right? Choose a target journal and write to its reader. Visit the journal website, navigate the journal readership. Right? So then you start writing. Second problem with regard to introduction that people do is that citations are very inadequate to support the claims. Citations are inadequate to support the claims. Whatever claim you take, you don't know, it is not properly supported by any support. It is not properly supported with any citations. Right? If you find any claim to be debatable, it should be supported by one or two citations. Any statement that you are making, if it is debatable, it should be supported by one or two claims. Third problem in the introduction section that people also face is that the research aim is very vague. The research aim is very vague. So I include as much enough key information to allow the readers to imagine the analysis. Make sure your research aim contains essential details like setting, population, study design, timing, dependent variable, independent variable, etc. So that readers should be able to imagine the analysis you have conducted. Clear? Whenever, see, avoid, these are some common mistakes that people do in the introduction part. Second, some common mistakes people do in methods. In the methodology section or method section. Once again. Authors sometimes describe only one method for one study or part of the aim. So make sure your methods are complete. And make sure if you are choosing, say for example, survey method, experiment method, like that, you should provide enough justification for the methods used. So be sure to check that methods describe all aspects of the study. Right? Make sure your choice of method is greatly impacting the interpretation of your results. So state the methods you use and defend your decisions. Why did you choose? So for example, justify why you choose to include measurements, covariate, statistical approach. Sometimes common problem is this. People do not properly justify. Then another problem with the result. Next problem is with regard to result section. Common problems with regard to result section is that people focus so much on statistics rather than the association. For example, you see again, people say what they say, instead of reporting odds ratio is 3:4, that is 3.4, that's all. What they say, they report women with exposure X were 3.4 times more likely to have disease Y. Right? Instead of simply telling the statistics, odds ratio is 3.4. What does that 3.4 means? That is what I'm interested in. Who is bothered about you are having parallel mediation, serial mediation, full mediation, partial mediation? Nobody is bothered. You should tell what does that mediation means. Who is bothered about your odds ratio is 3.4, like that standard deviation is 2.1, 1.2. Nobody is bothered. What does that value mean to me? That association should be specified. The relationship between independent and dependent variables are the heart of the scientific studies. Statistical tests are just a strategies to elucidate that relationship. So you should focus more on association rather than statistics. Causal words like cause and impact are used inappropriately. Only please remember studies with the right analytical approaches requires casual claims. Right? Only that requires causal claims. Focus on justifying your designs. Don't unnecessarily interchangeably use these words cause, impact, and so on. Right? So words like associated, related may be used. Then direction of association. Not simply say X is associated is Y. There is significant relationship between X and Y. No. No, not like that. You should specify the direction. X positively influences Y. X negatively influences Y. Right? Like that. X positively influences Y. X negatively influences Y. Like that, you should specify. Then, final concluding slide. This is the concluding slide. Last discussion part. These are some of the mistakes that people do. Author keep on repeating the results only. Does not understand difference between result section and discussion section. Right? Author keep on repeating the results or presenting the new results in the discussion section. Focus on how your study fits into the scientific literature. Your discussion section should always take a triangle, specific statement to the main finding to a broader discussion of scientific literature. Specific values you should not keep repeating. Sometimes people don't fail to include the implications. People fail to describe the implications. Implication is vague otherwise. That is also. Simply marketer can do this, do that, vague statements. So, you should do that. And sometimes people fail to describe the implication of the study limitations. How your study affects the application of the findings. How your research study, how your research limitation impacts the finding. But keep the previous point. No study is free from limitations. No study is free from constraint. Okay, that's where you should trickily say, how do you convert your limitation into, how do you convert your limitations into meaningful opportunities? How do you convert your limitations into scope for further research? So sometime I told no, statement about future research is also very vague. Very important. The journal will look whether you are properly given your scope for further research. That's why I told any researcher, 3 skills is very much important. Reading, writing, critical thinking. Right? Reading, writing, critical thinking. If you have a good critical thinking, you will be more specific about your research work. And if you properly read the literature also, you will get to know. Right? Am I making sense? So statements about future research should not be too generic. Right? So please go and be more specific. Is the relationship between exposure and outcome not well described in a population? Is that severely impacted? Right? So this is one better area to suggest area for further research, because people will cite your paper. Right? People will cite your paper. When they are talking about the research gap, see, I have noticed this research gap from this paper only. So I am going to take off. So whenever you are writing a research paper, keep an eye on all the dimensions. So I have taken you right from your introduction till the conclusion. Right? And I have also given you clear insights on what are some of the mistakes that you should avoid. Pitfalls are common mistakes that people do, especially in introduction section, there is a method section, result section, and discussion section, because I initially told IMRD format. Right? So keep all these in mind. If you can master all this, you will naturally master the art of writing high quality impact paper. So with that, I would like to conclude my session. Thank you so much for your patience listening. Right? And I hope you get a lot of insights today. So please ensure that you are implementing. It's not just you listening and going. You should put them into practice, right? And you should clearly articulate. You should strengthen your. Always keep your target high. Aim for a Q1 journals, so that by chance you get no rejected, that will still can suit Q2 or Q3. But you keep now only Q4 means your work writing will not go up. Is that clear? Yes. So we can now take up questions from the audience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar, for this insightful animated session. Practically very helpful for all of us here. So now, even if we have this another 15 minutes to end this session, it is now open to the house for all the participants to please post your
Yes,
questions.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So now the first question, is it okay to write subheadings in materials and methods section? Yes, nothing harm, nothing harm in writing this no subheading. You can write, and you should be very careful. If you are from social science, commerce background and all, you should not use the word materials. You should use only method. And that also, if you are following one method, means that section name should be method, not methods, not in plural form, singular form. Right? Okay. So again, regarding the title, how do we know if our topic is framed correctly or not? Does that require a double check? If yes, who is going to help us? Your supervisor. If you are a scholar, it will be your supervisor, right? If you are collaborating and writing, have one senior faculty, experienced researcher, well-known researcher, keep them in place. They will be able to check it out. Should one mention all? No, I already told not everything A to Z. Your abstract is like highlights. So what will catch attention? Only that you should tell. While we define research, should it be by an author? It should be by an author. You can define, and you should also support evidence. Literature support also you should specify. No, research gap is not. Research gap is different. Implication, future scope, drawbacks. All these are no. All four terms are completely different. Research gap is different. Implications is different. Future scope is different. Drawbacks or limitations is different. Then is a research okay? Is choosing sampling clearly based on availability? No. That's why they don't accept convenience sampling, student sampling, and all. You should be very scientific, especially when you are citing. Whenever you are using sampling. Using references is wrong in any section or can be nothing like that. You can do your in-text citations in introduction section, literature review section, method section, across paper. You can do nothing wrong. Any suggestions for good journals? How to get good? Yes, refers good articles. Identify your discipline, whichever is the Q1 journal, highest ranked journal. Find those, right? You can follow that. Right, sir, please suggest some journals for beginners in research. If you are beginners in research, first aim for special issue. Call for there are a lot of call for special issues from good publishers like Taylor and Francis, right? Sage, all those things. They have some call for special issues. So you target that first, right? Try for 4 or 5 special issues, then go for this thing. Q1 journals. Research need persistence. It takes time. That's why I told no, you should not stop with one paper. You should keep on writing. Finish one paper, submit, forget. Start writing the other paper, forget, submit. Okay, don't forget to submit. Okay, submit it to a good journal. Do a quality work, what I told you. Keep writing and keep submitting. You should not stop writing. Okay, it will take time, but it's a Q1, no. It's a Q1, right? It will take time. No, you are not supposed to do all those questions in my ethical foundation sessions I addressed. You should conduct pilot study before going for major research. Why you are choosing open access? Choose subscribed access. It is not you need not pay. If you choose subscribed access, you need not pay. Why you want to pay open access and pay huge lakhs and lakhs of money? Choose subscribed access. Then, what are the next questions?
If I may be permitted to speak, Chairman, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
uh, yeah.
Yes.
So, Dr. Gautam, actually, I wanted to write, but then it's a bit long.
Okay.
So my question is no, like I did while listening to your talk, I did look at some of your papers. So yeah, I find it very interesting. But what
Mm.
catches my eye is that, when you provided those flow charts, those cartoon, I'm very interested to know how do you get those things done?
Which cartoons I showed?
Like it's not in the PPT, but then I did check one of your paper. Actually, I was just browsing and then I saw got a whole of one of your paper. So
Mm.
like you give some figures and flow charts, and those flow charts are with some cartoon with it, some truck or something like that. No, I'm very interested to know how do you manage to draw those things? Like because from what I understand, like we cannot do AI generation of such image because the usually the journals won't accept that. So do we need to be expert in some Photoshop or something to do those things?
Yes, of course. Those side of skill sets complements. At the same time, it's all about your collaboration, your research team also, right? How do you form your research collaboration? Some of those drawings, no, sometimes my collaborators also do. All right. Of course, you should have those complementary skills also. When you are forming your research collaboration, you can have your research collaboration in two ways, either based on the complementary skills or based on your subject expertise. So ideally, that complements those kinds of works.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Actually, why I asked that one is that, especially with the science journal, no, like there's one part which is the graphical abstract.
Yeah, yeah.
So usually we get stuck there because we don't know how to
Understood.
handle these softwares. No, so that's why I asked that question,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
nowadays we have to put some graphical abstract to,
Yes,
and
yes,
if it is very good, then it even featured in the cover page of the journal. So
yes.
that's why I asked. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, any more questions from the audience side?
Yeah, there seems to be no more questions coming forward, sir.
Okay.
So yes, thank you very much, sir. But please stay on for some time. I would now like to call upon one of the partnering colleges' principal, Madam E.C. Black, to kindly propose the word of thanks. Madam, over to you.
Respected Chairperson, am I audible, sir?
Yes, Madam, you're audible. Yes.
Okay. Respected Chairperson, esteemed resource persons, respected principals, and dear participants. As we conclude this faculty development program, it is an honor and a privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all who contributed to the success of this faculty development program. I would like to extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Union Christian College, particularly to Principal Dr. R.M. Mani, the organizing committee, Dr. B.L. Maulong, the organizing secretary, and the entire faculty at UCC for their efforts in organizing this very meaningful program. Your dedication to promoting academic excellence and facilitating professional development is truly commendable. And this program truly demonstrates your visionary commitment. We are also immensely grateful to our collaborating colleges, Tura Christian College, Bhoi Synod College, Mawlai Presbyterian College, and Nabon Women's Synod College for their invaluable support and partnership. Your collaboration has enriched our discussions and broadened our perspectives on the topics of research methodology, data analysis, and the role of AI. I would also like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank our esteemed resource persons. Today, we were looking forward for another session with Dr. Lakshmi Narayana N., Principal and Director, Primus B School, Bangalore City University, to share his insights with us on the art of writing research papers. But unfortunately, he is unable to join us due to the demise of his father. And on behalf of all of us, I want to extend our deepest condolences to Sir and his family during this difficult time. May God grant Sir and his family peace and comfort at this time of grief and sadness. May the departed soul rest in eternal peace. We are grateful to Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar from Christ University, Bangalore, for sharing his valuable expertise with us today. Sir, your insights into research writing were incredibly enlightening and have provided valuable guidance for all of us. Our thanks also goes to Dr. Dharmendra H. from Christ University, Bangalore. We appreciate the guidance through the details of research methodology, data analysis, and the increasing role of AI in our fields. Each of you contributed unique ways of practical knowledge and enthusiasm, making each session engaging, interesting, and beneficial. Thank you for sharing your expertise over the past 6 days and for inspiring us to think critically and innovatively in our research efforts. I wish to express my sincere appreciation for the warm welcome received from the principal of UCC College, Dr. R.M. Mani. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech on the first day of the program. Your words highlighted the importance of lifelong learning and professional development. We are truly grateful for your unwavering support, your positive leadership, and utmost dedication in creating a flourishing environment for all faculty members. I also extend my gratitude to Dr. B.L. Mawlai, the organizing secretary of this program. Your excellent introduction of our resource persons was evident in your thorough preparation and organization, which significantly contributed to making the sessions both engaging and informative. Your dedication has been crucial to the success of this initiative. I would also like to thank Dr. Erlitha Sangma, Principal Tura Christian College, for your insightful introductory address about the faculty development program. A special mention goes to all the chairpersons of the program, right from day one until the last day. Dr. J.P. Marak, the coordinator of IQAC at Union Christian College, Dr. B.L. Mawlai, the organizing secretary of the program, and Mr. J.L. Mawlai, assistant professor in the Department of Geography, who skillfully led each day of the program, guiding discussions and ensuring that we remained focused on the goals of the FDP. I would also like to acknowledge and thank Madam C. Lalu, Principal, Mawlai Presbyterian College, Madam Degracia Linkoy, Vice Principal at Bhoi College, Dr. J.P. Marak, as I said, the coordinator at IQAC at UCC College, Dr. Chintu Marak, assistant professor in the Department of Anthropology at Tura Christian College, and Dr. B.L. Mawlai, who all delivered the vote of thanks on each day of the program. Last but not least, I would like to thank all participants from various colleges and research scholars who joined us this whole week. Your active involvement, insightful questions, and eagerness to learn have greatly enriched the discussion throughout the program. I firmly believe that your passion for knowledge contributed to the success of this program. Before I end, let us carry the knowledge and insights gained during this entire week into our research, teaching, and academic pursuits. I wish you all success in your future endeavors. Thank you once again, and I look forward to more collaborative efforts in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Bla, Principal of Nabon Women's Synod College, for your words of encouragement and for your words of gratitude and thankfulness to everyone right from the day one. Now, even as we're coming to the end of the 6-day faculty development program, so I would request to stay up for some time. We also have one of the principals of the partnering colleges, Reverend Mrs. Timon, is the principal of the Bhoi Synod College, who actually, as per the scheduled chart, was supposed to be chairing this last session, but he is on his way in the flight, and so, but still, I would like to appreciate, sir, if you're here around, Reverend Timon, for your encouragement and also for your anxious participation within this session again. We have with us Dr. R.M. Mani, the principal of the host college, Union Christian College. So I would like to give time to you to say a few words. Principal, sir, Dr. R.M. Mani.
Thank you very much, Jim. I would like to congratulate the organizing committee for having fully organized this very important event, which with some of the colleges, and we are very, very thankful to them, our principals, the faculty members who are actively participating. And this is a kind of global initiative that we are taking to partner with them, especially in the kind of seminar, workshop, or maybe in this kind of FDP, which is very important for our career. And I hope that in the future, we will do more collaboration and coordinate better in other sections or any other part of what we are thinking, especially in research or any other topic that is very important to our institution. So I would like to thank each and everyone once again, and to all the organizing committee members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Well, the principal of Union Christian College, Dr. R.M. Mani, has been a guiding person in the entire process, right from the day we conceived this idea of having this faculty development program and till the day we end here today. Thank you very much, sir, for your continued support and constant encouragement and motivation, and for giving us all the logistics that is required in this. I would also like to thank the entire organizing committee, especially my thanks, gratitude goes to Dr. B.L. Mawlai. And now, so even as the participants are anxiously waiting for the Google form for the feedback, I would now like to request anyone from the participants who are here today to also give or maybe express your gratitude, thankfulness to the resource persons, or maybe your brief observations or anything of that sort. I would like to open this time to the house for a few words. If there's anyone among the participants to say a few words, please go ahead. Please unmute yourself and then please go ahead. Not very clear, sir.
Hello.
One at a time, please. Mr. Chairperson, can you please ask them to speak one at a time? Otherwise, it will, echo.
Sure, of course, yes. One at a time, yes, please.
Am I
Hello?
audible?
Hello.
Yes, you are, sir.
Somebody is also trying to speak, looks like. Am I classing with her?
Yes, sir. Please come. Please come again, sir. You please go ahead, sir. Yes.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, sir. My name is Wakam Bamtomba Singh from Notice Adventist University. The entire new things is especially for us, the research scholars, want to thank all the research scholars. All the presentations were excellent. The content was good, and the presentation was so clear and so easy to understand for all the participants. And I want to thank everyone, the organizer, for organizing this kind of program, and looking forward in the future also to participate in this kind of the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. If there's anyone more, to come and get it.
Hello.
You also introduce yourself and then say a few words.
Hello.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, please come.
Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. I am Gayatri Ji, Associate Professor from Maharani Cluster University, Bangalore. I am so happy to attend this program, and it was very exactly made for PhD scholars, and each and every session was so excellent, and all the resource person explained these things so beautifully. So I'm extremely thankful to the Meghalaya University as well as all the resource person. Thank you once again, sir. And we look forward for a few more such FDPs. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for words of encouragement. And so we also look forward to be receiving more participants in the near future for something in common again. Thank you. If there's anyone more, I would like to take at least two more. Okay, there's none. I would now like to give this time to Dr. B.L. Mawlai, the organizing secretary, to make some few announcements and then something important for the participants before we conclude this session today.
Thank you, Dr. J.P. Marak, for the time and for chairing the session. Before I make some important announcement, let me take this opportunity to thank the resource person for the day, Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to be the resource person of this session and such a last-minute notice. You are a lifesaver, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now, coming to the important announcement, I would like to request all the participants. In fact, I've already shared all these information in the WhatsApp. Nevertheless, I'll repeat them again. So number one is the feedback form has already been shared in the WhatsApp group. Kindly take your time to fill it and submit. Next one is, of course, the most important one is that the assessment form will be shared at the end of the session. There will be 30 MCQ question on the basis of which you will be graded. With O grade for those who scored 100%. There will be A grade from 80% to 99%, and those from 50% to 79.9 will be given B grade. So please take your time to fill the assessment form. Again, the form can be filled only one at a time, and please make sure you use the email which you use during registration for the FTP. Do not use any other email, but use the same email which you use while registering for the FTP. Another thing is the assessment form will be accessible for only 1 hour, only exactly 1 hour after it is shared. So if it is shared at 9:30, then it will be enabled till 10:30. After that, we will close the assessment form. So please take this um, important announcement. Fill the assessment form within an hour, and as I said earlier, you can fill only once at a time. Next is of course, the resource material of all the sessions. Whatever resource material has been shared with us by the resource person, we will share with you accordingly, latest by July 18, 2025. The videos recording of the session from the 3rd day onwards till the 6th day, we will post these videos in our college official YouTube channel, because these are long videos of roughly 2 hours each session. So we cannot share them in your email because it will be a large size video. So we are posting them in our YouTube channel. So we will share with the link. You can kindly go through it and relive all the session on the YouTube channel. Unfortunately, we will not be able to share the videos of the first 2 sessions due to copyright issues with the resource person. So inconvenient cost is related to all the participants. And lastly, the certificate, the e-certificates of all eligible participants, which mean all those who submit the feedback every daily, and also those who submitted the assessment form. We will share the certificates with you by email on July 18, 2025. So these are few important announcements. I request all the participants kindly take note of them. And before we come to the end of the Faculty Program 2025, may I request all the participants to kindly switch on your videos. We will take a screenshot of all the participants. So I request all of you, please on your videos. We will take a screenshot for records. And I request all of you to at least smile, don't be grumpy. I know we have had a marathon 2-hour session with Dr. Gowtham Ramkumar, but nevertheless, as a mark of appreciation to sir, let us show our smile face. Okay. So since we have close to 160 participants, so we cannot fit in one screen. The 7 screens, so kindly be patient. I will take one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, and one more. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. One more. One Miss Longnam and all, they have not on the videos. 1, 2, 3. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much, everyone. So we have come to the end of the 6 days faculty program on research methodology, data analysis, and role of AI. So once again, I want to thank all the resource person, the chairperson of the day, Dr. G.P. Marak, for your leadership throughout the 6 days, all the principals of the 5 colleges, especially Dr. Aramani, the host principal, and of course to all the participants from various parts of the country. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to be your organizing secretary of this faculty program. So we look forward to seeing you again in the future in more such programs. So once again, from my side, thank you. Over to you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. B.L. Mawlai. He has been very instrumental, and then the main behind the whole, FDP right from the day one. And also, I would like to sincerely give my awards of appreciation to Johnston Mawlai. He has also been a very supportive member in the entire process of this. With this, we have come to the end of entire faculty development program. I would like to thank the resource person and all the participants. And so kindly do the needful, as it has been very briefly and very concisely announced to all of us together, so that we can finish everything on time. Thank you all very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.